What government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
Who's behind digital ID in the UK? Hello there, you awakening wonders. Tony Blair is behind digital ID in the UK. Tony Blair is one of the instruments of globalism that can always be relied upon. As a new Christian, I wonder where his Catholicism is in all this, how his love of Christ and the Virgin Mary translates into, I think everyone in Britain should carry digital ID. And I suppose it will be using the regular methods deployed by authoritarianism these days. This is for your convenience, this is for your safety. Let's see how this unpacks. Your country, the United States of America, is not exempted from this, although it's difficult to imagine under Trump with figures like Secretary Kennedy and Pete Hegseth and all these sort of somewhat robust, independent political figures in the upper echelons of government. But it's worth considering that, sort of Palantir or Larry Ellison of Oracle, powerful figures that have significant influence and, when it was happening in Canada and Australia during the pandemic, the freezing of the trucker bank accounts or the internment camps during COVID, I thought that these experimental measures where they pilot authoritarianism could never happen in my beloved United Kingdom. But they are happening. So let's have a look at how these things happen. Who are the architects? Who benefits? And what does it mean for the United States of America? Firstly, here's my friend Neil Oliver, also known as the Coast Guy, saying, if your blood isn't running stone cold yet and you like listening to really creepy stuff, I can help. He's referring to the conversation between Blair and Larry Ellison that we'll be analysing in a minute. And our friend Michael Schellenberger also says the man behind the digital ID push is Larry Ellison, owner of Oracle, CBS, CNN, and soon TikTok. He wants data centralization and total surveillance. Citizens will be on their best behaviour because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Terrifying. Even if you're the most pro-MAGA, Trump-adoring person in the world, and I can certainly understand the appeal of Donald Trump because, he don't like a lot of the people I don't like, and he's just extraordinary. I'm just thinking about that sneeze that Secretary Kennedy had the other day and him.
Imagine, they couldn't test. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there.
Making a Paxlovid joke and, beyond his personal skills and abilities, he has actually done something that if Obama had done it, I'd be thinking it was fantastic. He has gotten Pfizer and Moderna to provide Americans with drugs at a price that the rest of the world gets, which in a way seems like the sort of thing that, I don't know, should be happening, and even the fact that it's celebrated in a way is kind of surprising. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to ask, is the UK lost? Is the UK fallen? And could such a thing ever happen in your country? Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Here is Tony Blair, former Prime Minister of the UK. But remember, he's more powerful than that. What Obama was to Biden, some say Blair is to Starmer. He is the chuckling puppeteer that twitches the strings that move Keir Starmer's hands and potentially other parts of his anatomy. His what's name? His dinkle dangle. His peeper. His trouser monster. His spunk monkey. I'm not going to do too many of these. Anyway, look, let's have a look at this. It's a serious subject. It's digital ID. Let's get
your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Who's policing the police? We're policing the police. Who's policing the citizens? Each other is policing the citizens. Who's benefiting from all this? I'm benefiting from all this. Now, maybe Larry Ellison's a great guy, I don't know. What I'm telling you is that these technologies are currently being deployed in ways that will limit your freedom and will be used to assert and exert control over you, and they won't be inoculated just because there's a populist nationalist leader or a celebrated leftist leader. It don't matter if you get Mamdani as mayor of New York, or Erdogan in Turkey, or Trump in America, or Corbyn in the UK, or Farage in the UK. This appears to be the currency of real power. These are the titans of our new age, and appropriately, Tony Blair is interviewing Larry Ellison. Let's get into it.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government. But also, tell us a bit about because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do.
There they are at the World Government Summit, telling you in plain sight what their plan might be. Do you think at the World Government Summit, they ever consider the advantages of a, I don't know, world government? Do you think that world government might be subtly indicated by the World Government Summit? It's not that. This is just a summit for the world's governments. And one by one, we'll collapse their national sovereign identity into a one world government. Using all this data, we're explicitly telling you we're going to capture, as it says here in the brilliant Crikey, neither man mentioned the $130 million that Ellison's personal foundation invested between 2021 and 2023 in the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. I used to have a charity. It gave donations to drug addicts trying to get into treatment centres, but of course, as a result of the allegations and accusations that I will be facing trial for in June, by the holy grace of God, that foundation had to be shut down. Tony Blair, as a foundation, is an institute for global change. Somewhat hubristic. What do you think we should do with this institute? Change the globe? Well, I mean, isn't that preset? No, we can do what we want with that. It's just a globe. It's just a big 3D circle. Let's do what we want with it. Ellison was specific about which data needed unifying, and he had an example in mind. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, he enthused, but it was fragmented. Down below him, Blair nods, clutching his TBI embossed notebook. 2 weeks later, Blair's Institute published a report entitled Governing in the Age of AI, Building Britain's National Data Library. In it, the not-for-profit institute echoed Ellison on the UK's data infrastructure, calling it fragmented and unfit for purpose. Oh, look at all this data, fragmented. Each individual person in control of their own data, even the data that's already in NHS, that's the National Health Service, our medical system in the UK. Even that's a bit too fragmented. Why can't we have it in one place where we can control it and use it to help you? Haven't you noticed that's what the government does? It helps you. That's all it does, is help you. Whether it's that war in Iraq that Blair was somewhat involved in fact, some might argue lied. Well, I mean, there were no weapons of mass destruction. Lied in order to get us into. That was to help you. Remember, ISIS helped you. Remember, millions of dead Iraqis helped you. Remember, millions of dead service professionals from all over the world helped you. Remember, ongoing war against terror helped you. Now, one thing we could do to help you a bit more is get all this fragmented data all over there, passport over there, health information over there, nice and consolidated to help not Tony Blair, not Larry Ellison, not globalism, not even some proposed or indicated at least world government, but you. Can't you feel the help? What is Comet? There's Halley's Comet. There's that one where then people killed themselves as a result of it. But there are other comets too. What is this one? Comet is a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity. Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day on a web browser? How much time do you spend clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It's a lot, isn't it? Well, stop it. Comet will do that for you. Using Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your web browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. Yeah, do things, not just give you answers. For example, you can ask Comet to handle tasks and it literally clicks, types, searches and scrolls just like you would, getting things done for you in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings and a lot more to make your lifestyle easier. Comet don't just give answers, it gets things done. Pretty cool, right? Download Perplexity's new AI web browser, Comet, by heading to pplx.ai/brand and let your browser work for you. There's a link in the description. Use it. So if you say something like, why don't you buy me this Russell Brand merchandise? Or, why don't I support Russell Brand in his ongoing campaign against the forces of injustice? There could be any number of Russell Brand related or non-Russell Brand related things. I don't know, maybe a cat's got to go out of it. It'll help you with anything. That's what I'm saying. It will do your bidding for you. It's like your little surf, like Mickey Mouse in the Apprentice movie, in that Fantasia thing. It'll do your bidding. You're in control of it, you see. Even better than that, if you download Comet right now, you will get 1 month on Rumble Premium for free. That means you'll get my additional content, Stephen Crowder's, Glenn Greenwald's, Dave Rubin's, Tim Paul's, all of those people for free. So this is the perfect time for you to get Comet. Get yourself your own digital personal assistant who will do stuff for you. It's going to be brilliant. You're going to get on with that guy. Don't fall in love with it. Privately, TBI has lobbied ministers on technology and had policy proposals taken up by governments. Critics say that it was part of a major influence operation that could yet culminate in US tech firms taking control of Britain's most valuable data. TBI is unlike any other UK think tank. Ellison donations have seen it grow close to 1,000 plus staff working in 45 countries. It enjoys US levels of funding and influence. In the past financial year, TBI's turnover was $145 million. One former staff member said the effect of this cash injection was to make the culture toxic as fuck, while others described a form of AI boosterism that silenced nuance and pushed the boundaries of lobbying for Oracle. Investigative newsrooms, Lighthouse Reports and Democracy for Sale interviewed 28 current and former TBI staff, most on the condition of anonymity, supported by public documents and those obtained under Freedom of Information laws. The testimony describes an organisation unusually close to the British government that holds joint retreats with Oracle and is willing to engage in tech sales with governments in the rest of the world, sometimes to the potential detriment of local populations, under the guise of consultancy. When it comes to tech policy, said a former senior advisor in the UK, TBI's role is to go to the developing economies and sell them Larry Ellison's gear. Oracle and TBI are inseparable. A TBI spokesperson said, TBI and Oracle are two separate entities. We collaborate with Oracle to help the work we do in supporting some of the poorest countries in the world, and we're proud of this. TBI does not advocate for Oracle's commercial interests, nor does it advocate for any tech provider. This is how colonialism has always worked. You may know that Britain's colonial misadventures in India began as a result of corporate enterprise in that region, where a tea company pretty keen to exploit India for delicious tea, mark you, at least there was a cup of tea at the end of it, ended up murdering and butchering Indian folk left and right, and the British Army got involved. You can dress these things up in flags if you want to. You can call things world government summits and initiatives and ways of helping people, but the simple truth is this is a branding and marketing exercise for global imperialism that will lead all the way to your total tyranny. British ID cards are very unpopular. Look at this post. Fuck the ID card. Look at how popular it is in the UK. Look at the number of signatures on this petition. You can sign it if you want to. There's a link in the description to the petition against the British ID card. You should probably sign that. In a way, this is a time when we have no choice but to awaken. As always, it's been presented to you as convenient and helpful, and as usual, you're being lied to.
Is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country.
What they do is Oracle make big donations to Tony Blair's Institute, and Tony Blair's Institute advocates for further advantages for Oracle and Oracle-affiliated entities. Listen, I don't know much about Larry Ellison or Oracle. I can't say Oracle correctly. But what I can tell you is the centralization of data and the centralization of power is part of a dark and nefarious agenda. The macro argument of our time is centralization versus decentralization. Technology these days offers you and me the opportunity to uniquely engage with one another without the intercession of these centralized agencies. Do you see that they are fighting to prevent that happening? By controlling data, by controlling you, by changing the laws around free speech and basically everything, actually, to create the potential to criminalise anyone who is a problem. Figures like Tony Blair, even if he's well-intentioned, I pray, Jesus Christ, I pray, Mother Mary, appear to him, change his heart, Lord. As Blair moved from former Prime Minister to consultant for hire to the world's biggest political and business elite, his relationship with Ellison bloomed. The pair holidayed together off the Sardinian coast. In 2022, the former Prime Minister recorded a personal video message for Oracle lauding a shared vision to advance global health by building unified electronic health records stored in one place where it can be analysed and utilised for the purpose of improving health outcomes. There's a reason why men whose fortunes are built on AI investments would target the UK, the NHS and its unique population-level health data. Tech experts talk about Britain's health records in almost hushed tones. While Europe and the US have some comparable health data sets, such as US veterans' medical records, none have the depth and breadth of NHS records dating back to 1948. Its potential commercial value, from drugs to genome sequencing, has been estimated between 5 and 10 billion per annum. When Labour came to power in the UK last July, it did so promising economic growth and an end to the country's productivity crisis. Just 5 days after Starmer was elected, Blair told the TBI's Future of Britain conference that AI was the game changer they were looking for. Within 6 months, Starmer was parroting Blair's language and TBI was in the box seat of the government's nascent AI policy, pushing Oracle's interests and its founders' worldview. There's a real hard sell going on here that says these kind of gains are inevitable, but they are not. said Professor Gina Neff of Queen Mary University, London. TBI is not advocating for building that capacity within the NHS. They are saying let's outsource to our buddies. This is an attempt to re-centralise power by re-centralising information, to turn everything into a commodity, to make everything contained. Think of the qualities of God: omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. Think now of the presumed agenda of the World Summit and a project such as this one. Accumulate all information, centralise all power. We will become as gods. Oppenheimer's famous line, citing the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am a destroyer of worlds," in retrospect may be seen as a humble pronouncement in the light of the consolidation of power that's potentially being enacted right now. While that led to nuclear power, the revelation of the explosive light within the molecular, this is more of a quantum power, a diffuse protean superstate within which we are all contained and within which all outcomes are accounted for and potentially controlled, not by Jesus Christ, but by something far worse and maybe opposite. Yes, indeed, the Antichrist. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? If you don't have Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now. It certainly helps me. More important than any of that, though, is that you please, if you can, stay free. Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Rumble.